Hi everybody, this video is going to show you how to take through Design Space this new SVG to cut this lovely snowy layers Christmas card and an envelope to fit it. All the pieces to make the whole card are included, including the card outer and the card inner, and obviously these layers and the wording that goes on top and the custom envelope. You've got a choice of cutting the card outer and the card inner in one piece using a larger card and the long mat, or if you don't have the long mat or any larger card, you can cut it in two pieces from letter or A4 on the standard mat, which is quite handy. So everybody could make this card. The finished size is 160 by 245 mm, which is about 6.3 inches wide and 9.6 inches tall. It's a lovely big luxury card. Okay, so let's have a look at Design Space and see how we bring it in. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to bring it in as a new file, and then you can see how to go through those windows, because I think that's just still puzzling one or two of you at the moment because it looks different than what we've been used to for a long time. So we click on upload here on the left hand side, click on upload image. I'm on the desktop version obviously for PC. If you're on the mobile version it'll be a little bit different, so I'm not sure if you get these same windows, but bear with me anyway. So at this window you could drag the file if you tend to use Design Space in a small window, or I just find it easier to browse. It's just simpler, and the file we're going to bring in is called Card 1. This includes all the pieces for the project, whichever mat you're cutting it from. So each time you cut it, obviously you'll only cut the pieces you want to use. So it lands on your canvas already selected. First thing you need to do is ungroup it. Already grouped, pardon me, so just ungroup it. Then that shows you the two subgroups that were inside that original group, and if you just select the bottom one, that's where all the cut pieces are. All you need to do there is ungroup, and then in that top group, that's where the lines that need converting to score live. So just select it, go to your operations menu, choose score from the drop down, and because there's more than one set, we need to ungroup them. So now everything on canvas is separate and we can attach individual scores to individual pieces. Quickest way, click on canvas somewhere near a piece, drag a box to enclose it, and choose attach, which for me is at the bottom of the layers panel. And you need to do that for every piece on screen that's got scores. This is the card outer back if you're cutting it on the standard mat from A4 or letter, or 12 by 12 if that's what you're using. That's the front. This is the card outer if you're going to be using the long mat and larger card, A3 or tabloid. This is the card inner if you're going to be using the long mat and large card, and these are the card inner pieces if you're using the standard mat and smaller paper. This is the wording for the front, which I cut out of HTV. I find it lovely to use on card HTV because the carrier sheet doesn't stick to your card and tear it at all. You need very little pressure, very little heat to make it stick to the card, and it goes so smooth it almost looks like it's been printed on it. It's lovely. I really like it as a choice to put wording on card. And what you need to do with that piece, if you're going to use it, you've got to attach it or all the letters will be in a higgledy-piggledy order when you come to cut them. Right, so I've made, you can cut, obviously, I've put the inners there in a different colour than the outers. The layers are set to cut in white. You can, of course, again, use different colours if you like. But I've made the inners a creamy colour just to differentiate it because you get a PDF of instructions with this, and it recommends card weights that you should use for each piece. And I recommend 300 gram for these overlay pieces, but for the insides you can use something a lot lighter than that, 160 to 200 gram, maybe 250 gram if you want, but your actual card inner doesn't need to be that strong as long as your card outer is lovely and strong. The red bits obviously you'll cut from 300 gram or something. All this is explained in your PDF of instructions, which is very detailed, lots of photographs, and this is not a difficult project at all. Right, so let's say for the moment we're going to cut this all on the standard mat. So I'll get rid of the pieces that won't cut on the standard mat and we'll click make. I didn't attach something, did I? Was it that? It's that. Oops. That's the card back, card outer back. So I'll just attach those. So you can cut this all from A4 if you want. So if we were doing it from A4, your card inner and outer would go on a sheet each. That's the HTV. So we'll just put that on a tiny scrap on its own. These you can cut from A4. Obviously it's the card outer. That's the whole point of cutting them in two pieces. So if you were making this whole project from A4, you'd need 7 sheets of your different kinds of card and then a tiny piece of HTV for the wording. You may have a die cut thing, or you may use, as I said, you might do print and cut with, press cancel because we don't need to go. You could do print and cut or draw with a pen on this to put the greeting on there. On the finished card it goes there like that. If I can just, can you see this picture here? That's intended. That's the intended space for your greeting. So you could do print then cut there, or use a pen and use the writing function in Design Space. Right, so that's from A4. The same sheets will be required if you use letter, and probably we'll just actually do 12 by 12 because your overlays might fit on a little bit better. Let's choose 12 by 12 for the overlays. Yeah, you'd still need 2 sheets. And they obviously, you'd still need 1 sheet of 12 by 12 for the outer and the inner if that's what you were using. The inner is optional, by the way. You don't have to cut it. I just like to do that when I'm making homemade cards. Right, so we'll just bring back in those big pieces and get rid of the small bits now. So let's just say we're using A3 because we've got our long mat. You would need 2 and a bit. Let's have a look. Can we not improve that at all? How big is that? No, you'd still need 1.5 pieces of A3 for the overlays. So what is that if we do A4? Yeah, it's the same, isn't it? It's like an A3 and then half. But they will cut on A4 still if you want to. This card inner, as you can see, will cut on tabloid or A3. So US or European sizes there, which is nice. That's the tiny little scrap of HTV. We won't talk about that now. And again, tabloid or A3 for the card outer. So that's nice. It works in Europe and the US. They don't always, do they? But this one does. Okay, so that's the card. You do also get an envelope. So, and that also comes in pieces you can cut either on the long mat or on the standard mat. So we'll find that. Same way. Envelope standard mat. We'll bring that in first. So obviously it's got to be in 2 pieces. This is a big card, so it's a big envelope. So if you want to cut it on the standard mat, it needs to be in 2 pieces like that. Keep uploading. You don't need to do anything to it, obviously, and it lands on your mat like that. Again, it's already selected. I'll just zoom in a little bit. So just ungroup it. The second layer is where the cut pieces live, so just ungroup that. And then at the top here we've got the scores, so select it, go to your operations menu and choose score. There's only one set of scores, so no ungrouping there. And then we'll just select that envelope front and attach it to the scores, and there are no scores on this piece. They join together like that on that seam there. So if we hit make it, too big for A4, but it will cut from 2 sheets of 12 by 12. Okay, so that's the 2-piece one. Nothing particularly unusual about the single piece one. Obviously, we're just going to use different paper. So that file is called envelope long mat. Continue, upload. It lands on your mat. And what we'll do here is we'll just open that group, and then I'm going to select those lines which I know are the scores, go to your operations menu, make them score, and then just select the whole thing and attach it, because there's only one cut piece and only one set of scores. No ungrouping that needs to be done really. And so again, we can choose tabloid, you can see, or we can choose A3. So that's nice. You can cut that in one piece in Europe and in the USA. Quite like that. I think that's all I need to show you. If you've had any trouble when you come to cut or assemble it, please do get in touch. There are various hints and tips in the PDF of instructions that you get as well. I recommend always that you look at that PDF, even if you think you know how to assemble one of my projects. Always just give the instructions a quick glance, even if you know what you're doing, because sometimes they do contain little things that you might not have thought of. If you need to get in touch, the links are in the description below, and if you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, the link to do that is also in the description. Don't forget, if you're purchasing 3 or more SVG files at one time from the Tanglecrafts Studio Etsy shop, the link is in the description, you can use the 30 for 3 discount code to get 30% off your total purchase. This offer runs all the time, but you need to use that code when you check out. And if you haven't already joined the Tanglecrafts Studio Facebook group, join now to get any special Etsy discount codes issued to group members and to take advantage of the free SVG files I give away in the group from time to time. The link to the group is in the description. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.